It's game day, so get out your basketballs, get out your footballs, whatever game it might be, because I am going to turn these into flower vases. That's right, you heard correctly. These are going to turn into great flower vases that add a little something to any game day table. To get started, you'll need a basketball, a football, a pen, an awl, a pair of scissors, a hot glue gun, a pair of clippers, floral oasis, and flowers. Now, you want to think of this basketball as not a basketball, oh that's fun, that's really fun, but as more like a pumpkin that you're going to carve. And just like when you're carving a pumpkin, the first thing you do is pop the top off and just grab a pen. If you can eyeball this, great, but I think it's great to give yourself a little bit of a mark so that you know where you're going when you cut this open, and make it, you know, as big as you want your flower vase to be. You have to remember that you're going to want to be able to fit a vase down into your basketball. So it's a good idea to take whatever vase you're using and just see if your mark goes if it's big enough to fit the vase down in it. And I didn't make mine big enough, so I'm going to actually kind of trace around the vase and make one more line so that I'm really, really sure that that vase is going to fit down in. And then to get started, to get that first kind of pop of the ball, the best thing to do is to take an awl, and an awl is one of my favorite tools, and just take your awl, pop it right in the side, and you'll see when you make that mark, all the air starts to come out of the basketball. And if you want to, you can open it up a little bit more so the air comes out easier. The more air you can get out of there, the easier it's going to be to cut this whole thing open. And believe it or not, to make the slice, all you really need to do is get a pair of scissors right into that hole, and believe it or not, you can really just start cutting all the way along the line. Who knew that basketballs were so easy to manipulate? This is just a simple pair of everyday scissors. And I'm just following the line and slicing that top right off. Now, I can't take credit for this project, nor can really anybody here at the Katie Brown Workshop. This particular basketball project, my sister Lynn did for her husband's, I think it was his 40th birthday. She threw him a big surprise party, and on every table it was a whole sports theme, because he's a big All-American football player, but he also loves basketball. And she had footballs on tables, basketballs on tables, golf balls. It was really, really fun. And she's the one who showed me, actually, because there were about 40 tables, so we all went to work pulling apart various different game balls to decorate the table with. And there we go. Now, you don't want to throw away the top, because that is actually going to work as the stand to put my basketball on, so that it stays and it doesn't roll around your tabletop. And to attach the bottom to it, the best thing to do is just get some hot glue and just apply it in a circle around the top of your basketball, and let it set right on there. And you can see almost immediately that base glues on to the top. Now you're ready to start arranging your flowers. And the best way to do it, I think, to keep the water right where you want it, is to just slide in a simple little vase and then fill it up about 3/4 of the way full with water. This is also a really fun project to do for a kid's party if someone's really sports crazy. And I just collected a whole bunch of Montauk daisies from my backyard. And that's one thing that's really nice about this kind of a vase, is it's really more about the vessel that you've made or the vase that you've made than the arrangement that you're doing. So you can just keep it really simple and get one bundle of flowers. And I'm just going to trim them right up here. And I'm going to want them fairly short. I'm going to clip away. And let's see, how'd I do? Oh, I like it. I like it kind of billowing out and looking fun and festive. All right, now that your basketball's done, you're saying to yourself, how on earth are you gonna cut open a football? Well, believe it or not, the football is just as easy, if not easier, than the basketball. And when I look at a football, the part that I really like the best is the part with the stripes and the stitching. So I wanna work so that the stripes and the stitching stay in the front of my vase. And just like you did when you made the basketball, you're gonna get out your awl again and puncture it, just like so. Ooh, there we go. And you want to work along the seam of the football. That's where you're going to make your cut. It's natural, it's easy, it's the best place to kind of dig in and make your cut. Now, the thing you want to remember about the football that is unlike the basketball is that there are really two layers. So make sure you get in there and that you hear the air starting to come out so that you know that you've gotten both layers. And you'll see when you pull your awl out, the air will start to come out. What I'm really doing here is I'm just basically busting open that seam. And so with a pair of scissors, again, just cut along the seam of the football and create an even slit down both of them. So you kind of work with the rubber, you work with the outside skin, and you cut down and along the line. So once you get your slit ready, then it's time to start arranging your flowers. And the best thing to do, I really think, you could slide a tin vase in there or you could fill it up with a little bit of water, but I think the best thing to do is to take an oasis that's been lightly soaked in water for an hour to an hour and a half, and then trim it to the size that you need it. And just take a block of it, and you can trim it up fairly short and small so that you don't have any problem just sliding it right in to the football so that you can have some fun with your flowers. And the great thing about Oasis is not only does it keep your flowers alive, but it also gives you a place to slide the stem of the flower down into so it'll stand up straight and look really, really pretty. And I just have some kind of branchy flowers that I'm going to work with for this football. And again, with a pair of clippers, trim it at an angle and trim down some of the smaller flowers so that you really have a good long stalk that you can drive right in and slide it right in. And I'm going to trim it up, make it a little shorter, take some of the bottom ones. Make sure you're getting it right in there so that your flowers stay alive. Put a few of the smaller ones in and around. And it's a good idea, just in case this is in the center of a table, to work on both sides of your football. The other great thing about using these little baby flowers right around the slit of the football is if it's kind of a rough edge, it cleans it up a little bit. All right, I like my football and I like my basketball. That's right, I'm ready for any game that anybody throws my way.